I first saw today's film in the theater when it was released in 1999, actually on my birthday, and I loved it. Misses the Kazdoy Closet? Not so much, but that happens fairly often. I watched it again last week, wrote my entry on Letterboxd, and had no intention of talking about it on this channel. But then I had a few thoughts, and so here we are. This is the Kazdoy Closet. I'm Kazdoy. That's my closet full of all the stuff that I love. And today, another look 27 years later at a film from probably my favorite director. Is it one of his best or one of his worst? Let's check it out. Today's film is Eyes Wide Shut from 1999, 159 minutes long in color. This is about a Manhattan doctor who embarks on this bizarre night-long odyssey after his wife's admission of unfulfilled longing. That's just like a basic plot description of this film. It was directed by Stanley Kubrick. It stars Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. And I think you could easily do an hour-long episode at least about this film itself, just like you could on almost any Kubrick film. But I'm just going to stick to my personal reaction, my personal thoughts after watching this film again after so many years. Now, what prompted me to rewatch this is not just that Criterion recently came out with a new edition of it, but also that I heard a podcast episode discussing how the private club sequence in this film was based on the true activities at that time that were conducted by Jeffrey Epstein. Now, that has not been confirmed, just like it was never confirmed that Kubrick was hired to film a fake moon landing in 1969. That was another theory that still goes around because 2001: A Space Odyssey was released in 1968. Stanley Kubrick is possibly my favorite director, but this, I would say, is one of my least favorite films of his. It was also his last film, of course. I would still rank it above some other ones like Fear and Desire, of course, which is he basically disowned, very early work by him, and Killer's Kiss, which was another early film of his, but I really need to rewatch that to be sure about that. Same with Spartacus, which I haven't seen in a while, and probably one of the least Kubrickian films of his. But like almost all his films, Eyes Wide Shut is engrossing, it's hypnotic, and it's open to several interpretations. It's also about many things: sex, relationships, romance, betrayal, fantasy, just so many different things going on here. Nicole Kidman is incredibly beautiful and alluring and sensual in this film. She also was quite that way in To Die For, if you haven't seen that. That was 4 years earlier. Tom Cruise, I think he's okay in this. I think it's really interesting that they were playing a married couple and they were actually married at the time, especially considering what happens in the film. So, what doesn't work for me? Well, a couple of things. First of all, the sequence with Kidman, who's dancing and heavily flirting with this suave Hungarian dude at this party, goes on way too long, I think. And it's at the beginning of the film, and it just slows down the pacing. The same applies to a lesser extent to the argument that Cruise and Kidman have later on that evening after the party. Again, I think it could be trimmed down and still get the point across. Secondly, somehow, I'm embarrassed to say, I forgot the insane amount of nudity in this film. I know they struggled with not getting an NC-17 rating, and I know it was very controversial. I think some versions were even censored. Things were changed or blurred out or whatever. But yes, I get it. It's a film that is a great deal about sex. But there are several women in this film in full frontal nudity, standing there, laying around throughout the film, especially during that club sequence. And yes, I know, it's a sex club. I understand all that, and that's what happens there. But after a while, I just wondered if it was really all justified, or if it was exploitative, or if it was objectifying women. And I understand that's part of the idea behind the film. Still, you could throw in an occasional bit of lingerie, I think. and so they're not so exposed and still get the point across. And after a while, I just felt this is a little kind of distasteful, kind of icky, and kind of uncomfortable, I thought. And I'm not being prudish by saying that, just the way it came across to me. And I also couldn't help but thinking, could this film be made today? Still, having said all of that, I'm going to give this film 4.5 rainbows out of 5. Why rainbows? There's a couple of references to rainbows. There's a store called that. One of the women hitting on Tom Cruise says something about going to the end of the rainbow. If you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. Now, I don't know about you, but sometimes late at night, if I'm going to watch a film, I'll look at the running time first. Like, okay, how late can I stay up? I don't want to fall asleep during this film. And it was already 11 o'clock at night, and I knew this was over 2 hours long, but still I put it on, and I couldn't stop it. It gets such a hold over you, like most of his films do, that I went past 1 a.m. just so I could finish this film. I was not tired at all. So what's on this disc? This is the Criterion 4K and Blu-ray edition. So you have 3 discs. I'll show it to you there. And the one disc has the 4K film. And the other 2 Blu-rays, one has the film and the other one has a bunch of extra features. And those are the extra features there if you would like to freeze that. And there's quite a few actually. And what else does it have? It has a booklet that's about 30 pages long that looks like this. And I'll show you a little bit of the inside here. There's nothing suggestive at all. And really good information, including an interview with Sidney Pollack, the director, who has a small but important part in this film. And it's kind of interesting to hear one filmmaker commenting on how the other filmmaker, in this case Kubrick of course, was conducting himself during the filming of this. So I like that a lot. I do want to tell you that the picture quality, there's a great deal of graininess several times throughout this film. I don't know how on board I am with the graininess, so I would like to hear your reactions to that. What do you think about the grain? There's a color scheme that is very vibrant and very distinctive, and it comes across really well. And apparently this is all the way Kubrick intended the film to look. I'm still going to hold on, I think, to my old DVD version of it in case I don't want to see a real grainy version of this film. So I'll just hold on to that just for the heck of it. And where can you see Eyes Wide Shut? I don't see it streaming anywhere right now. You can rent it or buy it, of course. And I'm going to guess that it will be on the Criterion channel at some point, since it's on the Criterion label. And I think they did a Nicole Kidman package before as well, so might show up there. So feel free to leave a comment or suggestion down below. What do you think? Do you think this film could be made today? I don't think it could be, really. Let me know what you think. Leave a thumbs up. Don't leave a thumbs down. Subscribe would be great. Share this with your friends and neighbors. Subscribing is free. Also free is we are on Letterboxd under the Kazdoy Closet. There's a link in the notes down below. I'll take you right there. You can see what else we're watching and writing little reviews of and stuff. And that's free. What's not free is my book is available, my ebook that is. It is True Tales from the Teacher Trenches, the ups and downs from 32 years of teaching. It's for your Kindle. If you have Kindle Unlimited, it is part of your subscription at no extra cost. Otherwise, it'll be $1.99 at Amazon.com. So, hope you liked this episode. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.